Hello guys and welcome to a brand new video. Today I'm here with Rupan the third part 6 episode number 24 reaction, and this is the final episode of this season. So the previous episode, what happened was the story took a turn. In the end we get to meet Tomoe, and Rupan was hypnotized, and we get to know from Tomoe's own mouth how she was able to hypnotize him. So basically, she tutored all these students who she called her children with the ultimate goal of hypnotizing Rupan. So he told all of the girls that she tutored a line, a certain line in their own language, which they are, when they're going to meet Rupan, they'll say that line to Rupan. So through the different languages, it'll put like a suggestion on Rupan, ultimately hypnotizing him. That was her goal, and it was successful by the end of it. As far as I'm realizing, her motivations is basically like hypnotizing Rupan, and since he's the person who can apparently get the world, he has that capability. She wants to keep Rupan under her control. So that is like her whole plan. Interestingly enough, we also got to meet Moriarty properly this time. And Moriarty's like, oh, to make the criminal empire that I want, I need Rupan in the future, so I'm going to help you guys. So he gave everyone the location of Rupan. Mattia came across Rupan by the end of it. It did seem like Mattia ended up shooting Rupan, but Rupan survived. And there was also a scene before that with Fujiko, and my guess is Rupan has broken out of his spell, either in the scene where he gets kissed by Fujiko, or in the shootout against Mattia. Either of it. My bet is on the Fujiko part. Like, I'm pretty sure he broke out of his hypnotism at that point and decided to play along with it to get Tomoe. So let's see what happens. This is the final episode of this season. Let us begin. I'll be putting the subtitles and the timer here. Sync it to whichever is your preference, and let's get started. Okay, here's the countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. Whew. Mm. Mm. Here we go. Yeah. Whoa. Damn. It's like not even moving and dodging, just. Wait, is that Zenigata? Who's that? No, is it Jigen? What crooks love? Oh, there you go, Jigen. Right. Damn, going on. Mm. Okay, here we go. Yeah, obviously it contained none of that, nothing of that sort. Mm. Better than yours right now. Okay, there you go. Like so, like I said. So when did he break out of it? Yeah, so he broke out of it way before. Oh, okay, here, not the Fujiko scene. Here, okay. Either of it, like I said. Oh my. Okay, this I didn't expect. So they made. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well. Yeah. Exactly. He has said this so many times before that he's Rupan because he's free. Oh wait. Okay. Right. Uh, yeah, like all of this kind of. So he was hypnotized, but it was like he was in a trance. Like it wasn't complete, the hypnotism. Oh wow. The lipstick. Yeah. Okay, and then it's probably like became Fujiko's. Hmm. And that's where it fast forwarded here to the shot where he gets. Oh, here. Okay, here is where his head was completely clear. Okay. I see. That's why he was doing this. Well, wasn't he the one? Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's the one who. Exactly. It wasn't Tomoe. Okay, so this was the scene. Yeah, exactly. And why would he need to manipulate him if she was the one who broke in? Oh, I see. That's interesting. What the? Yeah, you're gonna get. Yeah. Oh boy. Whoa. Wait, wait, someone shot her from the. Oh no. Damn, she is also gone crazy. Yeah. Well, well, she was also under, I guess you could say, under a curse. Like this whole. Hmm, you couldn't pull it out. Yeah, he's still shot. Hmm. God damn. Whoa! Why are they fighting on a roof? What? Oh, it's probably because of this, Rupant. Damn. Oh boy. Oh boy. Damn. Oh. Oh god. What the hell? Oh, oh my God. Hmm. That's true. Even though she was a victim, she will have to carry it with your own standards. Zengatas here. Yeah, because she's a criminal. He has to arrest her. Hmm. Okay, that's good. Hmm. Damn. Oh boy, this is just. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, if we can catch him, then. Oh wow. Okay. But you're bleeding out, or no? No, I feel like Wait, 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 wait. Oh my God. Wait, did they update the system or something? Well, I guess this is one way to do it. Just break the. Oh my God, there's more. Well, but it worked out by the end. All right, let's see. I doubt they're going to show what's in. Oh my God, it's empty or something. It's empty. What the? What? Wait, what? Oh no, wait, maybe that was. Yeah, that was like an insurance. Maybe it's. I don't know. Uh, Safer place. Huh. Ha! Okay. We just relies on luck. Maybe I don't know. It's in the original place where it came from. Oh wait, maybe she just kept it with herself. Oh, it probably is. It's with her. Oh my god. Yeah, that's the question. I don't know. What? Wait. Um. But he did open it. You guys. Okay, wait. So, but he did open it, didn't he? He opened it and took a peek. Then what's the point? He saw what was inside. This lady, the one who got married, the yeah, and the flower associated with them. This girl, Fujiko's friend, her who was obsessed with love. Wait, oh, these are the pictures of them before. I'm guessing because that girl died. No, no, this girl died. Okay, that girl was alive. Okay, I'm getting confused now. Obviously, this is Matia, and this is Ariana. I think that was her name. Okay. Hmm. Oh, that broke out. Wow, Mercedes broke out. No, she'll live her life from you know on her own. As they said, Goemon relies on luck. Oh my god, what's happening? Why are you here? They're just playing poker. He was waiting. He was like, yep, let me go back to Japan and we're gonna get him. Not Japan, but like where they are. Oh god. Okay, that's it. Think, is there anything else? Okay, this is the last season that came out. That is season 6. Um, and obviously I still haven't watched a few of the movies, and the woman named called Fujiko Mine, I think that was the name. Those two, I'm going to do that. I will react to the woman called Fujiko Mine, that one, from next week onwards. But what I'm trying to say here is, like, this is the latest one, isn't it? No, I guess the latest one is Lupin Zero. I've already reacted to it though. So, like, excluding Lupin Zero, this is the latest. So, if we get something in the future, that'll be Lupin season 7. And I'm guessing it will have something to do with Moriarty, because it's pretty obvious. Like, Moriarty was like, oh, I'm going to make a criminal empire where Lupin will be important and this and that. And obviously, if Moriarty is involved, I'm pretty sure Sherlock Holmes is going to come back. So, if there's a season 7, which will probably come out in the future, it'll probably be related with Moriarty and Sherlock Holmes, and Lupin obviously is going to get involved in that. So that'll be interesting. And yeah, maybe we will actually get to learn something about Lupin's roots in the future, because obviously here you can see she says that, or maybe not. Maybe they're just going to keep it a secret, even from here onwards. Like, like, as he said, I don't want anyone like stopping me, or like, like pulling me down. I don't need to know any of that. Yeah, so something like that, I guess. And yeah, maybe we'll get to see all these characters in the future as well. Uh, like Matia, maybe, in the future we'll see. Uh, Not only Matia, but even in season 4 and 5, the girls that we got to see, what were their name? I forgot their names. All of them. Maybe we'll get to see them as well in the future. But for now, yeah, this was the final, or the latest one, excluding Lupin Zero. Right. Okay. So overall, I have to say, this season was a mixed bag. It had a few good, like, like sections. It had a few kind of boring sections as well, and it had some nice sections. Like, for example, there were a few episodes I really liked, a few episodes I extremely liked. For example, those two episodes, the one episode about God, and the other episode about the one where Lupin goes to a bar, sits down, and that one. Those two were very good. Not only that, the previous episode where they revealed everything, like, like about Lupin, that was also pretty nice. Where Tomo revealed her master plan and all that, and and the whole Sherlock Holmes section. I feel like this whole Sherlock Holmes section was pretty predictable, because I, like, predicted who the like the criminal was from the beginning. It was pretty obvious, like that guy. What was his name? Inspector Lestrade or something. You know, it was him, wasn't it? Or maybe I'm making a mistake in the name. But like, it was pretty obvious, and the whole thing was pretty predictable. So the whole Sherlock Holmes section wasn't really, I would say, um, like, my wasn't my personal favorite. It was okay. It was kind of like, very average in my opinion. But alongside the Sherlock Holmes, like, arc, there were a few episodes. Like I said, the one in the bar where Lupin goes in and Fujiko was in disguise. That one. And then there was the episode with God. Those two episodes were, like, extremely good, even though I guess they didn't really have any correlation with the Sherlock Holmes case. But yeah, those were really good. And then, like, this part, there were a few of the cases which were pretty nice. For example, I really liked the one episode where that girl, the girl who was obsessed with Lupin, that was a pretty entertaining episode. I really liked that. And then there were a few others that was quite funny and, like, like wacky as well, with for example, the one with Goemon and the fashion show one, that was crazy. Like, where Goemon starts walking on the ramp with a camel, and, like, Lupin comes in, and, like, that was funny. Then there were a few ones, yeah, like, there was a few ones which were quite entertaining, even though they weren't really that good. It was entertaining. But yeah, overall, I can see why this season got, like, a very average score, like 7 or something. It has its good parts, but it has a few of the sections were kind of boring as well. Like, but there were really good episodes as well. So it's an average season in my opinion. Like, I feel like season this was Lupin 6. So season 5 was pretty damn good. Like, all throughout. and it was pretty entertaining. Season 4 was also quite good, so this one, I have to say, is very average. It's very average. I don't really have much to say about it, except the few of the episodes that were extremely good. Um, so yeah, I can see why it has like a very, I feel like this season has like a 7 point something score, even though Rupan part 4 and 5 are very high rated, like 8. I think like Rupan part 5 was like 8.6 or something rated, which is it's very deserving. Rupan part 5 was really good, especially the ending, the final episode blew my mind. The final, actual final episode where that Rupan takes off his mask. That one, it's still a mystery as to what happened over there. And Fujiko kind of smiled after seeing whatever that was inside his mask. It's a mixed, it's a full open ended thing. It could either be that Rupan had a mask of himself and his face was his face, nothing else, or it might be a completely new face which nobody else knows, only Fujiko knows. But the fact that Fujiko kind of laughed looking at his a smile looking at his face makes me think like it's probably the same face, or I don't know. But that season was really good with everything that build up, and then the climax, it was fantastic. So yeah, I can see why season 5 got that high rating. Season 4 got a high rating as well. It was pretty entertaining as well. But this one, I feel like this kind of was a little bit average, and I would expect a little bit, a few of the episodes, if it were a bit better, it would have been really good. But overall, it's fine. So yeah, overall this season was okay-ish. It had its parts, but it also had its very normal parts as well. But whatever it is, I'm looking forward to whatever's going to come in the future. Obviously, before any announcement is made, maybe season 7 or something, I'll be completing the woman named Fujiko Mine, that one. And after completing that, I will be completing the movies or the TV specials that I still haven't watched. There's a few ones that I have my eyes on. I've always wanted to watch them, so I'm going to do those as well. So yeah, it's going to take a while to complete everything Lupin related, and by the time I complete everything Lupin related, we're probably going to get new content by that time. So we're still here. We're still with Lupin. Okay, so let's talk about this episode. Like I said, overall, I feel like this episode, what can I say? Like, the previous episode was really good. I extremely enjoyed the way they revealed the whole mystery and how they showed what happened and how Tomoe tricked Lupin. And then this episode kind of fell off again. I feel like, honestly, this episode, I feel like the previous episode was way better than this one. Maybe because that previous episode was the episode where they revealed the whole secret, and it was pretty, interesting to see how all the episodes that we thought were just, pretty normal, episodes, standalone episodes, even though the girls did have something to do with Tomoe. It turns out everything was kind of connected in a way, interesting way, and how Tomoe, made the whole plan of hypnotizing him through different languages. That was pretty entertaining, and it was a solid plot point. And the way it was revealed was pretty good. I liked it. I really liked the previous episode. But then this episode, it felt like everything just went down from there. Again, it became extremely predictable. Like I said, I was like, yeah, it's pretty predictable that it's either when he got kissed by Fujiko or when he got shot by Mattia. That he has broken out of his hypnosis. Turns out it was neither of it, but it was like a gradual process. It started from there where Fujiko kissed him, where everything started becoming murky in his head, where he started realizing that something is weird but couldn't properly put his finger on it. From there to the whole car ride to coming to Tomoe's mansion, that amount of time it took him to break out of it. So it wasn't like an instant process, like press a switch and he instantly gets out of the hypnosis. Nothing like that. It was a gradual process. It started from there and it ended where he reached the mansion. So that's what happened. So yeah, obviously my prediction was kind of correct, but at the same time it was kind of incorrect as well, because I thought it happened instantly. It didn't. It happened gradually. The trigger was something, and it happened from there gradually up until where he reached Tomoe's mansion, and by that time he was completely clear-headed. So yeah, again, that's what I'm saying. It became pretty predictable again by the end of it, and obviously, it's pretty obvious, what happened after that. I knew Fujiko was going to come and probably going to tell something to Lupin or something. But there was one surprising thing that I didn't expect, where Lupin fell from the top when Mattia shot him, and then him meeting like his friends over there. I wasn't expecting that, and he made a plan to go and trick Tomoe again. So I wasn't expecting that though. But like overall, it was again pretty predictable, and Fujiko, like I knew Fujiko was going to tell something to him, and he's going to reveal by the end that, oh, I was okay from the beginning. I just wanted to to catch you red-handed or something like that. And turns out his goal was to actually get to know more about the box, what's in it. That's why he was playing along. Yeah. So, and obviously it was pretty obvious about the whole Martia situation as well, that it was pretty predictable as well. I knew that something is going to happen, like Lupin's probably going to have a conversation with her, and she's going to probably give herself up to the police. But obviously, yeah, by the end of it, she'll probably start, like, make a decision of living her life for her own, not because of revenge. So again, that was pretty predictable. Like everything was pretty predictable, even though so that's why I'm saying, like, the previous episode was just completely came out of nowhere, and I wasn't expecting a lot of the things that happened. It was pretty entertaining to see how everything got revealed. But then again, from that point onwards, it became pretty predictable. But it's fine, Obviously, I knew this was going to end like this, but I feel like the ending episode just needed something a little bit more, a little bit more spice. I feel like, for example, like I just think whenever I see a Lupin episode, season, after seeing season 5, I immediately compare it with season 5. Like season 5's ending episode was crazy. Probably one of the best ending that a season can ever get. The way they revealed it came out of nowhere, where Lupin took out his mask. Came out of nowhere, and it baffled me. I was like, what is going on here? That was the impact that season had in the final episode. While this season's final episode was, again, pretty predictable. I feel like they could have done a better job if they somehow incorporated the previous episode, that is episode, this is 24, 23, in this one. Like, they didn't reveal everything in episode 23, and if they, did everything else, and then reveal the secret in this episode, I feel like it would have been a better, a better ending or a better conclusion to it. Like, they revealed everything in episode 23, and that was very surprising, and I was very entertained. But then again, from here, everything was pretty normal. That's why I'm saying, if they kind of did it like that, where they took episode 23 and took the revealing part, took that out from there somehow, and introduced it here in this episode, and revealed everything in this episode, that would have been very good, I feel like. And it probably would have been a better ending, in my opinion. But again, yeah. And then there was that whole section about Lupin, realizing, okay, overall, this episode was pretty average, like I said. It was an okay ending, but I expected a little bit more impact. But overall, it concluded this arc very nicely. There's also the whole Moriarty situation that we'll have to think about, which will probably be delved into in season 7. Before that, let us talk about this episode step by step. Like I said, here I'm going to go into better details about this episode. There's a few things I need to talk about here. First of all, the whole scene with Mattia and Lupin fighting, and there was this whole battle, and then in comes Jigen and his and Fujiko and Goemon. And okay, so Fujiko comes in, and I love how this part, obviously at that point of time I didn't realize that they were already had a plan to trick Tomoe. They met when Lupin fell down. So this was all part of their plan. Obviously I didn't know that. So here I thought Fujiko was actually genuine, deliberately angry and slapping him. It turns out she was just slapping him because she wanted to slap him. Because obviously, technically he did reject her in the previous episode, if you think about it like that. So, this is Fujiko Mine we're talking about. That probably didn't set well with her. That's why she just wanted to go ham. She was just like, yup, I'm going to take this opportunity because, he's acting. I can slap him as much as I want to. And he'll take it. He'll take the slaps. So that's why she just went ham with the slapping. She was like, yup, how dare you reject me? Oh, God. And yeah, and over here, first of all, she comes and slaps Lupin at the beginning, and she's like, oh, like, like, just look at you, like. And Lupin's like, like, you being jealous of my mother, that is, I didn't expect you to stoop so low, Fujiko. And that probably pissed Fujiko off even more. Like, they were acting over there, obviously. And the fact that he said something like that while acting probably pissed Fujiko more, even more. And she just slapped him. Okay, and okay, so here Fujiko asks Tomoe like, what is in the box, and she's like, oh, it's there somewhere, like, and yeah, but I don't think you need to see what's in it to get to know or to prove that I'm your mother, because this comes from within. And you know what an interesting thing this is? This whole thing, you remember Tomoe saying the same thing before, where Lupin was like, said something about like, where is it, like the previous video episode, she said something like this, a similar thing, like, oh, like, we're mother and son, so I don't really need to, like, give you like an physical proof, like, it comes from within. Lupin said the same thing as well. She says the same thing again here. Obviously it seems like she's trying to manipulate Lupin, but by the end where she actually dies, you can probably see that that is probably the only line she genuinely meant. She had a twisted love for Lupin, and that twisted love, even though it was, like manipulative, it was real, in a twisted way. So like her whole situation was that she was also, I guess you could say, a victim of her own brainwashing or something like that, where like obviously she didn't like brainwash herself, but she was like in a curse of like, like, and like in my opinion she genuinely loved Lupin as a mother, but at the same time, her whole love was very twisted. And that is why when she said something like, oh, like me being a mother doesn't need any physical proof, there's no need for that, I feel like she genuinely meant that. The previous episode as well, she genuinely meant that. Here as well, she genuinely meant that. Because obviously she knows that she's not Lupin's mother. That is why she continuously repeats this whole thing whenever like some kind of proof situation comes up, like, oh, prove yourself. She always says this, that, oh, there's no need to prove, it comes from within. And I'm pretty sure she genuinely believes that. She's not saying that to manipulate Lupin or others. She genuinely believes that one line, even though her whole like love for Lupin as a mother was pretty twisted and pretty manipulative, and she herself was pretty crazy in that regard. So that's what I'm trying to say. In the end, that's what it seemed like by the end of it, where she died. And even after she gets shot, she's like, oh, like, I love you, Lupin. Like, yeah, like, and as they say, at the end of your life, your true feelings come out, and the fact that she still kept saying that she genuinely loves Lupin makes me think that that was her genuine emotion. It's just that she was too far gone to probably, like, it was like a toxic form of love, that kind of thing. So yeah, now here Tomoe says, like I said, like, oh, it doesn't matter, like true love doesn't need to be proved. And she said something like, it's like over there, in the safe, if you want to, you can go and take it, prove your skills. And Lupin is like, what's funny, I just realized here, like here where Fujiko was like saying stuff to Lupin, where's that part? Fujiko says like, oh, that sounds like a challenge. My theory skills are exceptional, at least better than yours, Lupin. You see Lupin's eyebrows twitching? Like, I should have realized here that they were actually like playing along. But yeah, that's why, they were playing along. And Lupin probably got pretty pissed here because, one thing Lupin doesn't tolerate, someone dissing him about, like his abilities as a thief, even if it is Fujiko. So even if it's Fujiko, her actually saying something like that pissed off Lupin pretty much, and that's why his eyebrows were twitching here. And then Fujiko tried to slap him again. Like I said, she was definitely like she just wanted to slap Lupin because of Lupin rejecting him in the previous episode. And Lupin starts dodging her, and she keeps trying to slap her, and he keeps dodging him. And by the end of it, Thomas is like, what the hell is going on here? Even Mate was baffled. So here Lupin's like, okay, stop it, Fujiko. Like, enough is enough. Like, let's stop this whole thing. And then in the end, he's like, I'm sorry, like, sensei, yeah, I was already out of this whole hypnotism. So here they kind of showed Rupan falling down. And I thought here that here Rupan gained his sense when he fell down. But no, turns out he was back to his senses from way before. But he fell down, and this is where he came across Fujiko and everyone else, and he made a plan of going back and tricking Tomoe so that he could get his hands on the thing, the treasure thing. So yeah, so he says, like, in the end, he says that, yeah, I was actually hypnotized from the beginning, but I was able to break out of it. It was so bad that I actually turned my gun towards my friends. And like, obviously, like, Tomo is like, how did this happen? I made sure to make all the girls, like, especially, like, train them like this just so that they can get to you. And so yeah, but Rupan's like, you know what, sensei, all of that is true. However, I cannot live a life where I'm bound to someone or bound to something. And that is not my way of life. I'm free. Then he says, like, and at the same time also, there's only one woman in the entire world who has complete and total faith, who I have complete and total faith. And Fujiko's like, like, and she's like, when did you snap out of it? And she's like, wait, was it that night? And he's like, obviously not. Like, yeah, I did. That was pretty, obviously, it did kind of do something to me, but I didn't break out of it completely. And here he explains the whole scene. So basically, what happened is that, as we saw, he was like in a complete hypnotic state where he was like in this one little place where he's sitting down having tea with Tomoe, and there's like so many things, and there's different things that reminded him of different stuff. For example, where he tripped, the soul reminded the thing he tripped on, which was the sheath of Goemon. Obviously, it reminded him of Goemon. And then when he was doing the magic tricks, the hat reminded him of Jigen. When he was like in that state where there's like that clock, that lipstick reminded him of Fujiko. And then the final, like, the final thing where Tomoe was like, oh, let me give you a good night kiss. That probably coincided with Fujiko kissing Rupan. So all of that stuff, like, in his head, he was in a hypnotic state where he obviously was under Tomoe's influence, but these little things started kind of affecting it little by little. And it started breaking him out of his hypnotic state. And finally, when he completely broke out of it, he was just there in front of Tomoe's mansion, and he was completely out of it. So that's what I said. It was a gradual process, He was hypnotized, but, all these things that happened to him in his head, small little influences of his friends were affecting the hypnotic state, and it was able to break him out of it. And it took a while for him to break out of it, but by the time that he reached Tomoe's mansion, he was completely out of it. And yeah, and that's what happened. So then he reveals that he wants to get to know where the box is and what's inside of it, and he says, like, I'm guessing the box probably has the complete opposite of what Tomoe says. It has proof of me not having any relation with Tomoe. It has proof of my actual roots. And that is probably why, one of the reasons why Tomoe decided to just keep that box with her. He didn't want anyone getting their hands on it, because for her, like, letting Lupin know about his original roots is something that she doesn't want because of a twisted love for him. And when he was able to deduce all of this, Tomoe goes crazy. Tomoe's like, you've never failed to surprise me, and I knew it, you could do it. You deduced everything. And then he's like, don't worry, this time you won, but next time I'm going to get you again. I'm going to get more power, use more powerful methods, and I'm going to ruin more lives to get to you. And obviously Martia gets pissed off because her life was one of the lives that was ruined like this. So Martia tries to kill her, but Rupan does the thing and shoots her. And you can see, this is the part what I said, where you see how crazy he was. Even after getting shot, she's like, oh my god, you shot me, but it's fine. I'm your mother after all. And Lupin's like, I did consider you my mother until you did this stuff. And then she's like, how marvelous, my son. And then falls down. Then he's like, oh, I'm not going to let you go. Like, I love you, like, my son. And just, obviously falls down bleeding out. And Matthias starts coming and taking her revenge on her by trying, like, by stabbing her and everything. But by that time, she's dead. Um, so this is what I was saying. So it was crazy to see how she herself was a victim of her own curse. She was just stuck in this whole thing. Yeah, her what she did was very bad. She manipulated so many people, destroyed so many lives, tried to kill them, like did so many things to Rupan, tried to destroy Rupan's life. But, at the end of the day, her love was also a love. A twisted one, a disgusting one, but at its essence it was also love. So, in a way she did love Rupan, but it was a toxic form and an obsessive form of, like a motherly love, which obviously nobody would want to be the recipient of. Um, so yeah, and in the end, like Matthias, like, I'm also going to kill you, Lupin. You were also the reason why this happened. If you never existed, none of this would have happened. Which is, I guess, in a way true, but like that is not like a logic for this. Like, like if that's the logic, you could say that Tomoe's parents are also the reason why this happened because they're the one who gave birth to Tomoe. So yeah, this isn't like a logic, but at that point of time, she wasn't like really thinking properly. Her like revenge was like getting at her, and the fact that Rupan killed Tomoe and Rupan didn't let Mattia do get that revenge probably irked her, and she was going crazy. And that's why she's like, fight me. And they go to the rooftop and they start having a battle. Rupan like shows like her his expertise in hand-to-hand combat, while Mattia tries to use the knives and stuff like to get him. Eventually she drags Rupan down to the ground. And yeah, and then Rupan says that, yeah, you know what, you are a victim, but at the same time, however unfortunate it is, the fact that you're the ones who committed the crimes will never go. So even though you were a victim, you are the one who did it. I'm not blaming you, but I'm saying it as a fact. It is a fact that you're the one who did it. So like nothing you can do about it, but you're the one who will have to live with that weight. And that is 100% true. Obviously, she was manipulated into doing all of that things. That is true. She was not the one at fault. Partially you can say that is also true. But at the same time, what Rupan says here is that without thinking of all of that, if you just think about the person who will have to carry the weight of so many people who you killed, it will be you. Because nobody could carry that weight for you. Even though you were a victim, you're the one who did it. That is a true and a hard fact. And your own conscience is going to get to you. Nobody will blame you. I'm pretty sure nobody will say that, oh, you're the one who did it, because everyone knows that you were manipulated into doing it. But your conscience is never going to do that. Your conscience will always blame yourself, and you'll have to live with that weight, and that is a true and a hard fact. And obviously you can see that Rupan himself, is talking from experience. He knows. And he says that, listen to me, Mattia, no matter what kind of education people have drilled into them, the only teacher they have at the end of the day is themselves. So yeah. And he says that if you just decide what you want to be, if you want to be a crook with your own standards or not. Obviously that is something that Rupan truly believes. He is a thief in his own standards. He doesn't take orders from anyone. He does this thing just for thrill. And he loves living a life like this. And yeah, that's what it is. I love how Zenigata comes and he's like, oh, you're actually giving sermons nowadays? Like, goddamn, never thought we'd see a day like this. But anyways, he comes in and he's like, you're under arrest, Mattia. Like, the girl who you killed, almost tried to kill, my subordinate. She is still fine, so you're not being arrested of murder, but you're arrested of suspicion of murder or attempted murder. So yeah, but at the end of the day, like, you are the one who did it. So, you'll have to come with us. You'll have to pay your dues. But Rupan's like, can I have a word with her for a moment? And yeah, and Rupan here in the end talks to Mattia. And, we get a little brief glimpse as to what Mattia went through, how Tomoe manipulated her into killing so many people and trained her and hypnotized her and did so many things. you know. And she's like, Rupan's like, now answer my question. What will you be? Will you still be a victim of Tomoe, or will you try to break out of that? Will you still be under the curse of Tomoe, or will you live your own life? Or and will you know, obviously work as a criminal, but on your own standards? And yeah, in the end, Matya was like, yeah, I'm going to let you go this once, because at the end of the day, like, you like, there was like that little brief little glimpse, like, in the flashback where Rupan saved her, and that's why he's like, yeah, she's like, I'm going to leave you, like, like, let you go this time, because technically you're the one who saved me. But also from here onwards, I will be the one who decide whether my targets live or die. Like, she doesn't really say many things about Rupan here. Like, I was expecting her to say something like, oh, but from next time onwards I'll get you. She doesn't say that. What she says is like, I'll decide whether I'll let my targets live or kill them. I'll be the one to decide that. So in a way, she says that I'm letting you go this time, Rupan, but in the future, I might or might not go for you, or something like that. Like, and I'll be the one to decide whether you deserve to be alive or whether I need to kill you. So like, that's what she says, and she's like, gives herself up to the police. Zenigata's like, Rupan, this time I'm leaving you. Next time onwards, that cuff will be on your hands, and and yeah, and after that, Rupan's like, all right, let's try to get the box. They try to go get the safe. However, there was a little bit of an update that Tomo introduced into it, that whole, like, like that thing, the final part of the security. But like, Rupan and everyone else, like, breaks and destroys it. They open the safe, and yeah, it was a trap. The whole place blows up. Or they go into the safe, like, oh, I just realized what they did. So they literally, like, when they realized the whole place will blow up, they went into the safe and, like, like, locked themselves in, so that the explosion doesn't hit them or something. And yeah, and that's what happened. So Rupan's like, so then where is the box? So he remembers Tomoe's teachings, and he's like, wait a minute, maybe it's somewhere where we never expected it to be. And he just goes and he's like, wait a minute, let me see if it's with Tomoe herself. So he goes and takes out the box from Tomoe's, like, the sleeve. And he's like, yeah, it was there, And he burns the whole place down. And here in the end, you can see that, yeah, Jigen says, like, if she didn't want anybody seeing it, why didn't she just destroy it? And Fujiko says, like, you cannot apply logic to love like that, silly. And Jigen's like, some kind of love that was. But anyways, Rupan here, okay, remembers what Tomoe told him multiple times. Like, I love you, son. My feelings go without saying, right? And she said the same thing to him again. So yeah, like I said, like, this is probably the time when Rupan realizes that however twisted her love was, it was probably genuine, but it was a toxic form of love, a love that tries to, keep the loved ones, like, like, to themselves, like, an obsessive type of love, where you manipulate the other, like, trick the other, just so that you can keep them to yourselves. That form of love, like, like a more of like like the yandere-ish type of love, that type of love this was basically, where it's like an obsessive form. But at the end of the day, it was still love. Like, he was genuine when she said that, I love you, my son. Don't need to say any stuff like this to, like, to show how much you love the other. I think she said something like that. Where is that part? My feelings go without saying, that line. So yeah, Rupan probably realized that and opened it. Okay, wait a minute. I think he opened it, didn't he? Yeah, he opened the box. Okay, so obviously we don't know what was inside. He keeps it closed and just throws it in. And then he says, like, I'll keep it a secret. Like, in any case, it's still something that will just tie me down. So the only roots that I need is you guys. So I'm fine. But my question is, he did open it, so he did see what was inside. So what was the point then? Like, if he took it and just threw it without opening it, I would have understood what he said. Like, yeah, he didn't want anything to tie him down, but he did open it. So I wonder what was there, inside. Maybe it was empty or something. It was probably something like that. It's probably empty or something like that, or something very mundane. Very normal. Like, I don't know. Maybe like, I don't know. Maybe something very normal that Tomei just kept, as a memento for Lupin or something. Who knows? But either way, as he says that I threw this in because I don't want anything tying me down, and all the, like the roots that I need is you guys. And then we got to see all the girls. There's this lady, the doctor lady, like the one who got married. That lady. Then we get to see the fashion designer girl. Her. We see Fujiko's friend. She's still pregnant here, obviously. Then we see the little girl whose mother, like was a mermaid. That girl. Okay, I just realized who this girl is. I forgot for a moment. Like she wasn't wearing her glasses, so I didn't recognize her. It's her, the girl who was obsessed with Lupin. For a moment I mixed her up with the girl who died. So I was like, wait, what's she doing here? But yeah, like she wasn't wearing her glasses, so I didn't recognize her here. So her, and then we get to see the lady, the one who died. I think she's the only one who died. Yeah, and obviously Matia's the one who killed her. And then we have Matia. And then we have Ariana, I think that's her name, the one who, like is under Zenigata's subordinate. And finally we get to see Mercedes, who broke out of the cell, and she's off on her way to do something new. And like her friends are like, like, what are you going to do? Like, like, when are you going to surpass Lupin the Third? And she's like, no, I'm just going to focus on more interesting stuff now. I'm not going to be bound down by that anymore. And I guess in the end you can say that ending scene of all those girls, well, like a way they showed us that all of them have broken free from their hypnotism or from their shackles, that was like stopping them. And yeah, and they are on their way, and they'll probably live a better life from here onwards. Yeah, and then after that, Lupin and everyone's like playing poker, and then Zenigata comes in, and Zenigata's like, Lupin, like, this time I'm going to get you. And then they're like run off and everything. Yeah, there you go. So that was this episode. That was a very normal, like, ending. Like I said, I expected a little bit more impact, but we got the impact in the previous episode. That's why I said, like, I feel like if they revealed everything in this episode, it would have been way better. But it's fine. But yeah, that was the season. Overall, an average season, like I said, it's like a 7 out of 10 season. Yeah, and there you go. All mysteries revealed. Nothing much to say. But the only thing that's, I guess you could say, another mystery that, not mystery, but a development that we'll have in the future seasons is probably the whole thing with Moriarty. Let's see. Wait and see. Either way, that was this episode, and that was the final episode of this season. From next week onwards, I'll be starting the woman named Fujiko Mine. I think it has like 12 or 13 episodes, something like that. So yeah, I'll be reacting to that one, and after that ends, I will be going to the movies and the TV special. So thank you for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to press the like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel or you haven't subscribed. Comment down below anything you want to say, anything you want to let me know. I'll check them out. And yeah, that is it. Thank you for watching, guys, and I will see you guys in the next week with another with the new series, that is the woman called Fujiko Mine. I will be starting with that from next week onwards. So see you guys then. Until then, goodbye and have a nice day.